welcome back. In this video we will see how Maven folder structure is organized and how to run Maven face commands in Eclipse. Let me create one Maven project using Eclipse. Go to File, New, Project. Okay, you can see Maven option there, right? So just type Maven project. Next. So this is the time like you have to understand what is artifact and what is group ID. In Maven, group ID is like a company ID. Okay, it represents the whole organization. Inside that we will have artifact ID, okay, which will represent like a project. Here you can see archetype, right? Archetype is like a template. Suppose you are preparing your resume. At the time you will look for multiple templates of your resume, right, where your educational details should go, where your work experience should go. Okay, it will be organized in different forms of templates. So you'll choose a template, or else when you go for a website design, so where your drop downs should go, like where your sections should be, or how your sections should be organized, all these things, how we will be having multiple templates like that only. In a similar manner, we will have templates in Maven. Okay, so those we call it as archetype. Okay, so here you can see there are multiple archetypes. This is for Spring Boot. Okay, so I just want a normal standalone Java project. Let me find if I can find any Java. So if you are choosing for a Java Enterprise Edition, you can choose Java EE archetype. If it is a normal Java basic setup for Java project, here we have multiple options. So these archetypes have been provided by different organizations. Okay, you can see which organizations provided them and what is the archetype. You can just go through the archetype description to run web stories using Selenium, Java and Spring. Okay, let me take one simple Java archetype for now. So I think you are clear with what is archetype and what is group ID and artifact ID. Okay, so this group ID and artifact ID we will define in pom.xml, that I will show you when we go to pom.xml. Okay, but for now just get an idea that group ID will be the organization ID to identify, and artifact ID will be the project inside that organization. Going to next step. For my project, what is the group ID and artifact ID? I have to define them. So I defined my group ID and artifact ID. Just clicking on finish. So now see here, a new project has been created, my right. So there is a folder structure for a Maven project. Let's go through that. Okay, so in project we will have source folder. In source folder we will have main folder and test folder. Okay, main folder will take the exact logic that needs to be run, and all the unit tests goes into test folder. All your Java files which contains program logic will go into your main. Okay, you can see a sample Java file has been created here. Similarly, you can see resources. Okay, you can add any properties here. Similarly, for test also you will be having one test file. Okay, it will be a implementation of JUnit. You can write all your unit test cases in this. Okay, and any resources that support the unit test cases you can add it under source test resources. So normally when we are packing the project and deploying, we don't deploy the test Java files. Okay, we deploy only the main Java files because the customer will not be using the test Java files. Okay, the main logic exists in this main file. That's why deployment will happen for only those main files. So there is a predefined structure in Maven, like these files has to go into these folders. Okay, I hope you have got the folder structure of Maven. See here, your target folder is empty now because we haven't compiled our project yet. Okay, if you build your project, then only class files will get generated and they will be available in tar. Coming to pom.xml file, this is where the complete configuration goes. You can see this is the group ID and artifact ID I have given while creating my project, right? So this is the project. Okay, so the packaging, it is going to give us jar name, my right. So what are the dependencies here? Actually this test contains JUnit, right? So a dependency in order to download JUnit has been added. Okay, so similarly, if you see our JBehave in the previous videos, we have downloaded each and every jar file, right? Instead of that, we can just give the dependency here. Okay, if I give dependency of JBehave here, when the project build is happening, when we say Maven install, all the dependencies will be downloaded. Okay, and then the class files will be compiled. Okay, now that we are having our Maven project ready, let's see how to build this Maven project. Currently we don't have any class files generated, right? So what you have to do, right click on your project, okay, run as. So we have discussed about the three phases, right? In Maven clean, Maven default. In Maven default you will have different phases like Maven install, Maven build, test, generate resources, process resource, generate sources and all. Okay, so Maven install is the last but one phase in define life cycle. Okay, so let me run Maven install. So it executes everything, all the phases before that. So here compiling is taking place and compiling of the tests. Okay, finally the test got executed. I'm using a Surefire plugin. Surefire plugin has only one goal, that is test. Okay, so tests run or one, no failures, and finally a jar file has been generated for your project. So this is how you will run your project file. Just I'm putting two statements in order to see the output. Just failing the assertion voluntarily. Run as Maven install. We got executed main and then tests started running, but I have removed one override. So expected is this one, actual is this one, so the test got failed. This is how we run using Maven. We have discussed about how to download the Maven jar file and how to set an environment variable for that, and also how to download Eclipse integration for Maven. Okay, after that we have gone through the life cycles like Maven clean, Maven default and Maven site. In that we have different phases. We've seen like Maven clean, Maven install, Maven build, Maven verify. Okay, those are the phases we regularly use. After that we have gone through the file structure in Maven project. So we have understood what is archetype, like which is a template of a Maven project. So artifact, which is the project name, group ID, which is the org name, like all the projects come under one org, so that you can provide as a group ID. And finally, after creating our first Maven project, we have seen how to execute the Maven project, how to run it using Maven phases, Maven commands. These are the pretty much basics that are required for you in order to install, in order to import your existing project and install the project. Okay, and we have also seen pom.xml file. Okay, we have to go through pom.xml file in detail. Let's see that in next video. Okay, yeah, thank you everyone.